Welcome to Mentoring Unlocked, hosted by Lindley, founder of Serendis Leadership and MentorKey, the platform making mentoring impactful and elevating workplace development conversations. Maud is a renowned executive coach and leadership strategist with over 2 decades of experience, helping leaders unlock their full potential through adaptive leadership and meaningful mentoring. Tune in for personal mentoring stories, expert insights, practical tools, and bold conversations. Whether you're a mentor, mentee, or a culture shaper, there's something for you.
Welcome, Dr. Abby Jandro, Principal Consultant at Serendis. Abby, you've been with us since 2015. We're celebrating your 10-year work anniversary at Serendis now. And you're based in Perth, which makes it really exciting. You launched our very first Perth Property Council mentoring program back in 2015. You've been running in-house and cross-industry mentoring programs ever since. And you bring something that's very, very unique to Serendis. You bring a very data-driven mind and approach. You've got a PhD in organizational psychology. Before that, you've worked with Fortune 500 companies. You've worked with the Royal Flying Doctor Services in Australia. And you're originally from the US. So, Abby, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to talk about data, impact, mentoring programs. What a great combination.
It sounds great to me, Maud. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited.
Abby, ever since you joined us, you brought that rigor to the team in, okay, we know mentoring adds value, but how do we know that it adds value? That's the heart of our topic today. That's really what we're going to dive into. But before we do that, tell us a little bit about you. What brought you to organizational psychology? What have you done in your career that culminates in the role that you have currently?
Fantastic. Thanks, Maud. Sure. So as you said, I'm originally from the US. I'm from the state of Colorado, lots of mountains. Most Australians don't know that it actually gets quite hot there as well. And then I was always interested in psychology. So I did my undergrad in psychology at Colorado State University and then proceeded to get a master's in clinical and a doctorate in organizational psychology in San Francisco. So that was a really interesting time. What I was really passionate about at the time was actually something that I'm doing here now with Serendis, which was mentoring. I actually almost wrote an entire dissertation on mentoring and how it supported people in their careers. But I did shift gears a little bit to study why leaders fail. My work life brought me to Australia back in 2011. And I was doing quite a bit in safety leadership at the time, safety coaching. Yes. And I moved from San Francisco all the way to Perth. And from there was finding myself in the Pilbara. So that was quite a change. And I thought I would try this out. And like many people, my 1-year stint in Australia, living and working abroad, ended in me finding my partner. And he and I have made our lives in Perth. We now have 2 beautiful boys and a cute little dog. And we love running around the beaches of Perth.
Beautiful story. Yeah. Why leaders fail. I love that. Tell us a little bit about that dissertation. What did you find?
Sure. The technical term was career derailment. So this is why leaders didn't proceed to the level that they thought they would or that they were anticipated to go to. There were some primary reasons why that happened. And I was looking cross-culturally at what was really some of those key areas. I'll say that as a headline, the primary reason is problems with interpersonal relationship. One of the other findings from my research that has stuck with me throughout my career is that those leaders who do find themselves derailed, the ones that really return with even bigger than they were before, are those who are really able to self-reflect, to think about their leadership in a different way, and then to actively make the changes they need to be more successful going forward.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's that self-actualization, that self-awareness and ability to learn from your mistakes and I guess that humility that comes with accepting to try things differently. I mean, I feel it's almost a leading question, but let's get there anyway. How can mentoring play a role in that transition from I guess failure back to self-actualization and awareness and learning from your mistakes?
Well, I think it has a huge role to play. Absolutely. If I think about some of our mentees who are in certain points in their career where they're finding things particularly challenging or difficult, they're starting to feel a little bit negative about their role or their potential, their possibilities. I've seen these mentees absolutely transform through reflective conversation with their mentors. So they have been able, through either workshops that we've done or different online prompting that they've gotten through the keys that they take on Mentor Key, they have been able to really hone in on what might be getting in the way and to really shift their mindset, but also to identify different skills that they might need to build or different approaches to people they find challenging. So I think reflection's at the heart of mentoring. Absolutely.
That's brilliant. And of course, we know that mentoring can have that impact. However, you and I, we really want to talk about the conditions that actually create that mentoring impact. So we're going to talk about your research first and foremost, about what you've done over the last couple of years to try and actually bring rigor and data to mentoring effectiveness. And then we'll talk about your advice to organizations wanting to create impact from their mentoring programs.
Sounds good.
Let's start with the research that you've been conducting. Like, Abby, you have been an incredible force throughout otherwise very intuitive bunch of consultants at Serendis. We know mentoring can work if we create certain conditions. We have created at Serendis quite a process to run mentoring programs that over the years we have sensed has had a great impact because we get great feedback from mentees. But you taught us that is not enough. Tell me more about your approach and your passion over the last 2 years to get us there, Abby.
Yeah, thanks, Maud. So I like to think, as you're talking, I'm thinking about this little cartoon that I always share with the team, which is these stick figures. There's a group of stick figures and there's this one guy in the middle who's got his arms up and he's waving him around and he's saying, this program is great. That's something that we've always done really well. We've heard the stories. We've seen the transformations. We know what's possible through these programs. And it left a really great opportunity to look at what that impact actually was and whether we could really prove that our model, our approach to mentoring worked, that it delivered value, that it created meaningful, lasting change for people. So over the last, you say 2 years, but we've been working on our process of how to do this for probably the last 5 years or so, where we have really dove into, first and foremost, looking at our program and where we believe that it does move the needle. So we extensively workshopped our program, looked at every factor that was involved in producing these programs. And we wanted to look at how repeatable it all was. We wanted to look at what we thought the outcomes were going to be from that. And then we distilled that down into a program evaluation approach. So we ask questions at 3 different intervals in our programs, at the start, in the middle, and at the end. Each of those are with purpose around either testing the impact or change over time for our participants, or they are testing the relationship, looking at, are we really nailing that really key element of matching, making sure that the relationships are going to work really well from the start.
And if I can interject, to just add some layers to the story and to praise for your resilience and your commitment and your leadership, because it's actually hard when you're onboarding a group of participants, a group of mentees and mentors who don't know much about the process. And they, it takes a bit of effort for them to register to the program, either from a mentor perspective who are giving them their time, but also from a mentee's perspective who are basically gambling with their time, their precious time, and also accepting to be vulnerable in this process. And so we ask them to trust us a lot. And then just before they start, we have to ask them all sorts of very intrusive questions. And so naturally at Serendis, because we're people pleasers and we try to make people comfortable, we don't actually like asking these questions to our participants, forcing them to answer those surveys. But Abby, you have led us through this and demonstrated how important it was to actually do it. What kind of questions, tell us, what kind of questions do we ask repeatedly throughout the program?
Yeah, thanks. We're asking questions in several different key areas. We ask quite a bit about confidence. We know our programs, we've always known, we've seen the uptick in confidence for our participants. And so we ask them very specifically, though, in areas where their confidence may have improved. So we are asking about their confidence in their role. We're asking about their confidence in their leadership and their ability to network. Mentees were also asking about career progression, whether they have career goals, whether they're very clear on what their next steps might be. For mentors, we're asking about their experience mentoring, if they feel that they have the skills and tools that they need, how reflective they are about their own leadership. There's several more within that, but yeah, these are all the key areas that we've identified that our program delivers value.
Tell us more. Why do we ask these questions pre, mid, and post the program itself?
Yeah, this is really the only way to determine if change is happening over time. So our programs are 6 months in length, typically, and give or take a month or two here and there. And we really want to know from baseline or the start of the program, does the participation in this program change or create this impact, add this value for our mentees and mentors? Yeah.
And I remember you telling us this is absolutely critical to do this well and to do this at scale. Tell us a little bit about volume. How much data have we been able to gather? And over the course of, I think, 2 years, is that right?
Yeah, we looked at 2 years worth of data. There's several intricacies within that in terms of making sure that you have a data set that you can analyze. And one of those is you have to match answers. So the person who responded at the beginning has to respond at the end in order for those data to be usable. And so we collected probably several hundred responses. But in the end, the usable data from pre-post for the different variables that we were looking at landed around the 150 to 200 participants, depending on which question we were looking at.
And it was across many different programs.
Yeah, many different programs. We were really looking at our model, our approach. Yeah. Is there a significant change that's happening for people?
So at Serendis, our mentoring program practice runs programs that are in-house for organizations that want support in leading their internal mentoring program. So matching their own leaders with their up and coming emerging talent. So we collected data from those organizations running their program, but we also collected data from our signature cross-industry mentoring programs. What we call the cross-industry mentoring programs is when we bring together 20 or so different organizations in a sector, and they contribute mentors and put forward mentees, and we match these mentors and mentees. Sometimes we have 50 pairs or so of mentors and mentees across a sector. Tell us about the different sectors that we've been able to test, I guess, our mentoring impact across.
Yeah. So this is really kind of the future of where we're headed as we look at our data. At the moment, we've brought everybody together and really looking at the model. While there are differences and there's give or take here or there, we really looked at what some of the core elements were across our programs to see how we were faring. Our future is going to be about starting to really dig into the industries so that we can see the impact there, maybe making some comparisons across how we do it from a cross industry perspective to how we do it from a internal program perspective. There are certainly differences in how we deliver those programs. So we may see some discrepancies there. And hopefully those will inform us as we look to innovate and to design for the future.
And at the moment, the data that we've collected comes from the banking industry, the real estate sector,
health and medical research. We also have property.
So banking, property, health research. We also have the drinks association
the drinks,
mentoring program across
luxury goods as well.
Luxury goods, etc. So we've got consumer-led organizations, more sort of not-for-profit, purpose-driven organization in the health sector. We've got the banking sector and the property development sector. So quite a breadth of different organizations and people in your data set.
Absolutely.
So, Abby, what have you found? What have we discovered through the data? What has the data said?
Oh, it was very exciting. So the end of 2024, we finally got to crunch these numbers and look at the impact that we were having. We found a significant positive increase for our mentees in the areas of confidence. That is, as it relates to their role, their leadership, their networking ability. In their ability to drive their career and other significant results. So we know that they're able to set career goals, to identify their next steps much more effectively. And for our mentors, who are often very senior people who've done all the leadership training under the sun, we saw a significant result for them too, in that they have increased their mentoring skill.
I mean, that's been interesting because all of us have known over the years that these structured mentoring programs deliver results because we hear it from our mentees. We hear it from our mentors, particularly mentors who come back year and year saying, I'm actually learning so much from this structured program.
I want to do it again.
I want to do it again. We're like, okay. And then from our mentees who send us glowing messages of thanks and who go on to progress their career and then come back 4 years later as a mentor. So we've known it intuitively, but you've demonstrated it statistically, which has been a turning point. Can you tell us a little bit about the statistical approach? Why was it important to really validate the model statistically?
Yeah, I think, as you mentioned, having these stories, you can get that sense that something's working, but you don't really know the intricacies of that. And so you don't know the extent to it, how well it's working. You don't know the different areas. You can't really drill down in the same way. I mean, people will provide glowing testimonials, but you're not necessarily going to hear what you really want to know about the movement people are making in specific areas. And I think for our clients and those that we partner with, they are very savvy. They are wanting data. They want to make that business case for why they're investing their time, energy, and resources in these programs. And so it becomes really important to demonstrate actual meaningful change, to prove that the model that we are using for mentoring actually works. There's a significant amount of research out there that says mentoring is a great thing, yet I don't know many programs that are going to hold their models to the same accountability that we have chosen to hold ours.
And that's really testament to your commitment, Abby, because all the way through you have said, well, we need several hundred points of data because we'll need to clean this data. We're cleaning the data, as you said, because you really want to make sure that what you're testing is someone who has answered the questions at the beginning, is the same person who's answered the questions at the end. We want to know that this person has participated in the program the whole way through, that they have participated in that specific structured program. So there was a lot of rigor that you brought to making sure that we were using the right data and also the right amount so that the scale is significant enough to demonstrate the impact of the program. So I heard you tell us the very sort of exciting news is that after all of this rigorous statistical approach. You've done some things with a statistician at the end of last year. You sent the data to people crunching numbers, and then you came back to me and you said, guess what was the big news that you shared with the Serendis team in December 2024?
The big news was that it works. that our mentoring programs really do deliver value, and it's not just the stories.
Yes.
We've gone beyond the storytelling, which is great and it's wonderful, and we need to hear those stories, but we have seen that it is repeatedly adding value for people over a big group of people in several different industries, and that's incredibly meaningful. We have proven that our model really works.
Of that, you were able to identify specific areas of value. So you were testing for career confidence, leadership confidence in mentees, career clarity, and mentors' actual confidence in mentoring. Do you want to tell us a little bit about those numbers?
Sure. In terms of what the results actually were? So if we're translating that into a genuine impact number, we have for the career progression was by and far our largest. So we're seeing is a good 25% bump up for people's ability to drive their career. And if I'm thinking of myself, if I have a 25% bump up over the course of 6 months, I mean, I certainly would take that in terms of clarity or where I'm headed or what I'm doing. That's quite substantial. Confidence in those three areas combined grew by 19% over a short period of time. And for our mentors, there was a 6% increase in their ability to deliver mentoring. Now, I always say this one with a little bit of a grain of salt, because what I've noticed over time, and something that I'm going to look at for the future of our evaluation, is that our mentors often think that they know what it takes to be a mentor. They're are very experienced, and they do quite a bit of informal mentoring predominantly within their organization. Then they participate in our program, and then they tell us at the end, I actually had no idea. Or I've learned this new way of approaching things that I had never thought of. I've gained so much from this program. So we have a little bit of positivity bias that's happening at the start, is my suspicion. Yet even with that, and even with these people being very skilled,
overly confident,
sometimes overly confident, sometimes just not knowing the uniqueness of what a mentoring role is. There's a lot of confusion out there still today. They're gaining this bump up. So I do think that for organizations that are often wondering, what do I do with my most senior people? They've done everything under the sun. How do we really support them? Mentoring is one of those critical pieces that can not only improve their skill and their work with the people up and coming, but they often will take things back from the program into their teams, and it translates really well. Yeah.
And Abby, I want to go back to that 25% increase in career confidence for mentees in the space of 6 months. As you said, anyone would take that. If I think about organizations who are looking to create a mentoring program, if they're looking for the perfect structure that will deliver those kinds of results, what are some of the components that they need to be aware of? So let's focus now on the structure of the program that has delivered that significantly statistically validated impact in the space of 6 months. Tell us about the key components of the structure of the program that have delivered those results.
Yeah, I think we have to start or think about it in two buckets. The first being intention and the second being momentum. Yeah. So when I say intention, it goes all the way back to the strategic side of planning for these programs. What are organizations really trying to achieve by introducing this program? I think often mentoring programs come about as, let's do a mentoring program. It sounds like a great idea. Yet the ones that are the most successful really do align it with their talent strategy and with the broader business strategy. We can then, as we're working with clients, design programs that support that. Within the program itself, we spend a lot of time helping mentees get really clear on what they want to achieve in the program. And that, by and large, supports them throughout and gives them that anchoring point to come back to throughout their experience with us. Also, still thinking about intention, it's what do the mentors want to get out of it? Often, of course, they want to give back. They they think about the mentors that they had throughout their career and how much it helped them. And they would love to do that for somebody else. And yet, even beyond that, you start to get them thinking about, what they could possibly learn, what they could take back. And so there's a lot of effort that we put in at the start to making that a reality, to really having clear intentions for the program design as it relates to our clients and for the participants. The other side is the momentum. And a lot of that has to do with the support that we provide. We have regular workshops that are deepening people's thinking about certain topics. Often that's a strategic discussion with clients about what those topics are. We use MentorKey, which is a phenomenal tool for administering mentoring programs, but it also provides a significant on-demand support for our participants in order to deepen their thinking, prepare for their conversations, and really have those meaningful chats as opposed to showing up to a mentoring meeting and just saying, I don't really know what I want to talk about. They're very clear. Other elements of momentum is just that continued accountability. So we put that in the hands of both the mentee and the mentor. We have MentorKey supporting around accountability. There's several ways in which we're checking in, we're making sure that progress is occurring.
Fantastic. I really love the way you've simplified it, because we try to explain that structure quite a lot, but I love the way you've simplified it. It's intention and momentum. And intention, I'm almost hearing it from you. It's three different stakeholders in that intention. There's the organization's intention for the mentoring program. Who are you capturing? Who are you targeting? What impact are you looking to have on your cohort of participants? That actually is really important to set very clear at the beginning. But then there's intention from the participants themselves once the program has started. Supporting the mentees to be very, very crystal clear. What will you achieve out of this program that you would not have achieved otherwise on your own? Yep. And then the mentor's commitment to also having objectives for themselves out of this program. So that's intention. I really love what you said there. And then momentum is everything. We know even with the best intentions, with the goals being clear, that actually without the support and the gentle nudging so that the participants have that accountability, but the support in materializing the type of conversations that will deliver on these intentions, we don't really get anywhere. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how our structured mentoring programs actually create that momentum and that accountability? Tell us about the workshops that are put together.
Yeah, certainly. So I think we have some bookend workshops, I would say, that just kind of open and close the program really, really well. So at the start, there are very specific workshops talking about what you want to achieve, talking about what it means to be a great mentee or mentor, what skills we want to support people in. We really drill down with both the mentees and the mentors in that area. We also then at the end will be celebrating success. So there's that kind of final bookend on the journey that people have had, and we get to share all the amazing stories and the results of our data collection. In the middle, we have a midpoint check-in. This is really where we hone in on the relationship. We take them through activities, the partnerships through activities that will help them look into and even audit their relationship so far. Where have they been? Where are they headed? And then in between, we are offering usually two to three workshops that are going to help them dive deeper into into their own reflection and how that relates to their goal for the program. So often we're working on areas like understanding your signature strengths and how that can relate to your career, your leadership. We're working on resilience and building a resilient mindset. We also have many programs that are focused on building adaptive and inclusive leadership skills. Again, it depends on the program objectives themselves at the start, but we certainly always have the beginning, the launch, the middle, and the end involved in any of our programs.
Yeah, building that accountability for the group of mentees and mentors and really diving deeper into those topics so that we provoke that reflection for the mentee, but equip the mentor with frameworks, with robust support so that they can have that impact with their mentee.
Absolutely.
Tell us about how we actually support mentors to know how to have the right conversations with their mentee, because obviously the mentor's role is critical in delivering impact out of mentoring programs. How can organizations think about equipping their mentors to deliver that impact?
Sure. So when you said that, I have to think about where I end up spending a lot of my time at the start of a program with mentors. We have people who, again, very experienced leaders. They're used to managing large teams and big budgets, and they're working under a lot of time pressure. And so where we spend a lot of time is helping them realize that their primary role is to ask questions. Versus getting directive or telling somebody where to go. And that ends up being at the end something that they often come back to and say, oh, wow, I didn't realize how often I'm just giving advice. And it can be quite hard. They've been down a road. They can see where their mentee's headed if they go down that path. And it's quite hard to step back, listen, fully immerse themselves in that conversation and help a mentee explore what's going to be right for them versus telling them what they should do. So we spend quite a bit of time there. We also, as you said, we provide several frameworks for how these conversations can flow. We provide them lots of question options, encouraging them to try something new and push themselves out of their comfort zones or their patterns. We also encourage them to be listening for more than just what's on the surface. So we help them explore what it means to really listen for the motivations, the beliefs, the assumptions that a mentee might be coming to a situation with. So in some ways, we're simultaneously training them to coach their mentee as well as offer that really great guidance that only a mentor really can.
It sounds like it's one of the critical features of impactful mentoring, isn't it? It's like the extent to which the mentor understands that their advice can sometimes hinder their mentee's growth if they don't ask questions, if they don't actually help their mentee or actually guide their mentee to come up with their own answers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think some of us will say, your role is not to create a mini me.
Yes, exactly.
Where they walk down that path.
Yes.
And it can honestly be quite confronting for mentees as well.
Yes.
They're used to being on the other side of that, where they walk in and they're told, take this path, try that, go that direction
do
versus
this.
Do this versus, well, tell me what you think. Tell me what options are available to you. Tell me more about your motivations or what's driving you in this decision, things of that nature. So they struggle at first sometimes as well, but in the end they say, oh, wow, that was a transformative experience.
And that's the impact that we're seeing actually for them to have the statistically demonstrated jump in their career confidence and clarity. They need to actually find the answers themselves. And the mentor needs to play that facilitator's role as opposed to the telling role.
Yep. Then they're invested. We see those actions actually take place.
Exactly. Abby, final question on the structure of a mentoring program. Let's imagine that we have HR leaders listening to us and they know that they want to bring mentoring into their organization and they have to create launch a mentoring program, what are your key pieces of advice for them to deliver that type of impactful mentoring?
Yeah, thanks, Maj. It goes right back to what we were talking about before, that it needs to be part of the strategy. Mm-hmm. It needs to be deeply connected to their talent strategy, and for them to be really clear on what they're hoping to achieve. Yes. There's so much potential for them to not only build the confidence of their employees and to set up their succession into the higher ranks within the organization. You know, there's opportunity to share messages relating to culture. There's opportunities to really build the skill of their mentors, of their senior leaders, to understand what's going on the ground. So I think that is my biggest suggestion, to spend the time there, make this a critical strategic lever.
And so that goes back to that intention that you were telling us about. Be clear about what are your expectations for this cohort and how you communicate that, and expect them to actually be clear about their own objectives. Very critical. Abby, what's been the significance of this piece of work for you personally and professionally?
Well, I would have to say at the end of the year last year, it was quite an exciting time to see it all finally come together after all the journey that we've been on as a team, to really understand how to collect data, how to make sure that it's usable, as you were saying before, to finally have it culminate and to get significant results in the end was just absolutely thrilling.
That's brilliant.
And I was really proud of the team. I mean, the amount of effort that goes into these programs, and then on top of that, to be evaluating them and to remember to evaluate them and to ask the questions in the same way every time. I mean, it's been a significant journey. So it's been thrilling. I'm so happy to see that the numbers now support the stories. And I think, as I was saying before, you often see programs out there and reports out there that are really focusing in on the after program descriptives. They're getting those really big flashy numbers of 99% of our mentees have feel a boost in confidence. And that's great. We collect those statistics as well.
We've known that for years. Our participants say that. Yeah,
they're important, but certainly they're not the whole story, and they don't tell you as much as the kind of research that we've really designed. They don't tell you the areas in which their confidence has boosted. They don't give you as much information about how you can improve, what you're doing really well, but also in what ways you can create even a bigger impact. And so I think that's really the benefit of doing this kind of work. So I'm super excited about the next stage, where we get to dive into the data even deeper and start looking at, okay, we've had this great impact. How do we make it even bigger?
I've just had a major insight in what you were saying just then. When we collect the data from our participants just at the end of the program and ask them, how is this program? We get the 99% of that.
Everybody thinks it's great. You've got your stick figure
going that way. But actually, this is biased data, because it's just their emotive feeling at the end. What you've been collecting is an unconscious assessment of how their confidence has grown. Because obviously people fill out a survey at the beginning of a program, and at the end, we ask them the same questions 6 months later. They don't remember what they put in at first. And so it's a really data-driven, robust way to assess to which extent the program has had real impact.
Yeah, absolutely. And I often think that if you are only collecting data at the end, there's so many factors that are influencing that. I mean, people often have just gone to a finale event and they're very excited. It's been very inspiring. And so they're on a high, and you do want that feeling. You want that sensation.
And we do collect that data.
And we do collect absolutely. And we report on that data as well. But we always are showing our clients the shift at the same time. And now we have looked at that shift in even more detail and across programs.
What a phenomenal piece of work. Thank you so much, Abby, Dr. Abby Jandro. We've been so incredibly inspired by the work that you've done and really looking forward to more. Before I let you go,
Sure.
I've got the Fast Five. You ready?
I'm ready.
So the name of the game here is I ask a question and you've got to respond just in a few words.
Okay.
The biggest mistake about mentoring is?
Just matching people and think everything's going to work out.
Abby, what's the unique skill that mentoring can deliver for leaders that no other training can deliver?
The level of deep, supported reflection on both sides.
Yeah. What's an article, a podcast, or a book, piece of research that you think is absolutely critical right now for our leaders?
Yeah, I couldn't come up with just one. So I will say in the topic area, two topic areas, actually, the topic area of neurodivergence, as several people are becoming aware of their own diagnoses as it relates to ADHD or autism in particular, and AI. Yeah. Anything you can learn about AI and how it's coming into the world of work.
Yeah, brilliant. And just a final one. The future of leadership is?
It's all about creativity.
Oh,
yeah.
Fantastic. Abby, thank you so much. We'll see you soon on the podcast, no doubt.
Thanks, Maud. It's been such a pleasure.
Thanks for listening to Mentoring Unlocked. This podcast is powered by MentorKey, the platform designed to make mentoring impactful. If this episode unlocked inspiration within you, please follow, share, or leave us a review.